Hello, everyone, and welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. I'm so glad you're here. Before we begin, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the join button if you'd like to support more long-form stories. Today, we're unpacking a headline that has stirred up heated conversations around one of the most recognizable names. In Turkish entertainment, Çağatay Ulusoy. Rather than echoing short, sensational posts, we're going to walk through what sparked the talk, why it escalated so quickly, how comparisons to Hazal Kaya entered the discussion, and what this moment reveals about fame, privacy, and relationships in the spotlight. Let's start with the spark. In a recent conversation, portions of which circulated rapidly online, Çağatay offered thoughtful but candid remarks about timing, commitment, and how personal readiness matters more than public pressure. Within hours, fragments of that discussion were lifted out of context and reshaped into provocative captions. Some headlines suggested that his words upset his partner. Others implied that he elevated a former co-star by holding up her life path as an example. None of those bold claims came with a full transcript. What began as a nuanced comment about life choices turned into a storm of interpretations. To understand why the reaction was so strong, we need to revisit the narratives that have formed around Çağatay over the years. His career took off early. From his very first leading role, he carried the weight of a national and international fan base. He has moved between series and streaming projects, shifted genres, and weathered intense scrutiny. As happens with many young stars, the public started asking not only what he would do next on screen, but also when and how he might settle down off-screen. That curiosity intensifies whenever an actor appears grounded, private, and careful about the line between personal life and public image. Enter Hazal Kaya, a colleague whose path often intersects with his in public conversation. Hazal and Çağatay share a professional history that audiences remember fondly. Viewers admired their screen partnership and kept track of each person's growth after their project together concluded. Over time, Hazal's choices, marriage, motherhood, continued work were framed in media as milestones. So, when Çağatay spoke about readiness and timing, some listeners, fairly or not, mapped his words onto Hazal's journey. That comparison was easy to headline, but it was never the full story. Let's paint a clearer, calmer picture. People make different decisions at different moments. Some feel ready for marriage early, others prioritize craft, travel, or study. Neither path is superior. What matters is honest alignment between partners. If a person says, "I want to do this when I'm ready," not because a crowd is cheering, that can be a mature boundary, not a criticism of anyone else's life. Likewise, admiring a colleague's stability does not automatically diminish one's own relationship. A respectful comment can be reduced to conflict by a few creative edits, but the underlying truth remains. Adults can make different choices without turning those differences into a contest. Still, rumors thrive on contrast. A sentence about timing became an indirect message. A mention of admiration became a comparison. A private disagreement, if there even was one, was amplified as a public fallout. Accounts that trade in shock value relied on three familiar techniques: remove context, suggest motive, and fill gaps with insinuation. Meanwhile, fan communities felt compelled to choose sides, which only fueled the cycle. By the end of the day, a thoughtful discussion about life stages had been recast as a dramatic declaration. What gets lost in the noise is the person at the center of it. Those who have worked with Çağatay often describe him as intense about preparation, attentive to detail, and protective of his space when work demands focus. That discipline can look like distance. It can also look like care. The same is true for any partner who discovers that living beside public attention requires routines and boundaries. Couples learn to communicate around scheduling crunches, long location shoots, and the sudden tidal waves that come with a new release. When people outside the relationship project a narrative onto that private learning curve, it makes the curve steeper. This is where Hazal re-enters the conversation, not as a symbol, but as a professional with her own rhythm. She is widely praised for navigating multiple roles at once: artist, spouse, parent, without turning her life into a spectacle. Many fans find that inspiring, but inspiration is not a measuring stick. Two people can be respected for different reasons, and two timelines can be equally valid. Admiration across colleagues is a sign of a healthy industry. It should not be weaponized as proof that one person has fallen short. Let's also talk about the partner who, according to rumor accounts, felt hurt. It is easy to build an entire narrative out of a single image, a quiet profile photo, a caption about reflection, or a day of silence. We should resist that temptation. Feelings within a relationship are multi-layered. One can be frustrated by the noise around a headline and still be supportive of the person at the center of it. One can ask for more care and phrasing without asking for self-censorship. If a couple is navigating that terrain, the most respectful place for the work is inside the relationship, not on our timelines. Another reason this story moves so fast is that it plugged into larger cultural debates. Should public figures announce their milestones on a schedule the audience has come to expect? Is marriage a professional stabilizer or a personal decision that has nothing to do with the next role? Does admiring a colleague's milestones imply a hierarchy of choices? Reasonable people disagree on these questions. But when the debate is conducted through headlines and cropped videos, nuance evaporates. There is a practical takeaway here for anyone who loves following Turkish television and film. When a claim explodes, ask 5 simple questions before you share it. First, who is the source? If it's an account without a name, a face, or a track record, pause. Second, is there a full-length video or only a clipped sentence? 10 seconds rarely captures tone. Third, do multiple independent outlets provide the same quote word for word with context? Fourth, does the claim align with the person's known communication style? If a performer is famously private, a sudden flood of confessional text might not be real. Fifth, is any part of the story time-stamped and verifiable? Or is it couched in vague phrases like recently, reportedly, or it is said? Now, let's widen the lens to the larger arc of Kogiti's career. He has carried productions that demanded serious physical and emotional preparation. He has stepped into projects that required adopting new skill sets and reinventing his image. With each transition, the public asked for more access, more candor, more speed. It is understandable that he might choose to move carefully when speaking about private life. Slowing down does not mean hiding. It can mean honoring the difference between a scene partner, a colleague, a close friend, and a partner at home. The same slow-down instinct is healthy for us as viewers. We can appreciate Hazel's journey without turning it into a mirror. We can analyze Kogate's words without tying them to a single person's name. We can empathize with a partner who prefers boundaries without assigning blame. When we hold the discourse at that level, artists are freer to speak sincerely without fearing that each sentence will be sliced into clickbait. Will this wave of speculation produce any durable change? Perhaps. It may encourage interviewers to publish longer cuts so audiences can hear tone and context. It may motivate public figures to preface sensitive topics with a framing sentence that reduces misinterpretation. It may persuade fans to elevate work over rumor by sharing scenes, craft discussions, and behind-the-scenes insights rather than ambiguous slides. As for what happens next in Kogate's personal world, the honest answer is simple. We will know if and when he chooses to share it. Readiness is not an insult, it is a boundary. Admiration is not a comparison, it is a compliment. And privacy is not secrecy. It is the space where real decisions are made, away from cameras, algorithms, and comment sections. Before we close, here's a balanced recap of what we can say without speculation. A small piece of a broader conversation went viral. It touched nerves because it intersected with long-standing narratives about timelines, milestones, and comparisons to a colleague who is widely admired. Voices online rushed to fill in gaps with strong opinions. Through it all, one truth remains. Adults navigating public lives are still allowed to be works in progress, to speak imperfectly, to recalibrate, and to choose what they share. Thank you for spending time with me today. If you appreciate careful storytelling that avoids easy sensationalism, please like this video, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, and tap the join button to support the channel. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you prefer public figures to address personal topics directly, or do you respect a quieter approach? Do comparisons between colleagues help you understand a story, or do they distract from the work? Your perspective matters here. Until next time, take care and goodbye.